Hi everyone, and welcome to this masterclass. My name is Bree, and I'm happy to lead and kind of guide you through this class on essential oils for sleep. So like my previous masterclass, this is going to be about 45 minutes, give or take, and we're going to be having it presentation style, and I'm going to run a presentation and where possible kind of interlude with practicals in between. So I invite you, if you do have an essential oil nearby, have your diffuser on, you can kind of create an aroma tent, which is simply put a drop of oil on your palm, rub your palms together, and just kind of take in a deep breath and set your intention for today's class. So if that looks like, just taking the information you need, there is no pressure here. This is just a learning experience. Take what you need. Anything else that I have left out? I'm going to be kind of scatting around from place to place because I have got oils on one corner, a diffuser going on another, and my notes on the other class. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let me share my screen here. Oh yeah, and if you do hear noises in the background, please bear with me. I live in a place where we've got all kinds of animals, and so it's kind of really cool. All right, so here we go. Okay, so today's topic is sleep. No more counting sheep. And I am sure that many of us can identify with the fact that our sleeping patterns have kind of been interrupted. I know for a fact that my sleeping patterns kind of took a shift more towards the beginning, where I would have a really, really hard time falling asleep, right? So this masterclass has been brought to you courtesy of Ikigai. And in case you haven't, check out their work from home membership options. And once all this is over, please take a moment to go and check out their 3 beautiful locations in Lavington, Lower Kabete, and Spring Valley. Yeah. Okay, so a quick note before we start. So the information I'm going to share here is for educational purposes only, and it's not intended to replace medical advice. This is information I have gathered from my research, my knowledge, my training, and my personal experience. And I encourage you always to be an advocate for your own well-being and wellness, because you are the best person who knows about you. And seek out medical advice where it is necessary. Make your own decisions based on research and partnership with a qualified healthcare practitioner. I'm just putting that out here. Okay, so who am I? My name is Bree, and I am a DoTERRA wellness advocate, which means very many things, but the most important thing is that I educate people how to use essential oils for every day, and that is where my strength and my passion really lies. I teach intimate essential oil-based wellness workshops, and we talk about oils for everything from physical well-being to mental well-being to emotional well-being, which is actually my favorite topic to discuss. So let me see. I've been using essential oils since 2010 and doTERRA since 2015. And I'll be speaking bits and pieces about that as we go through the presentation as well. I love smelling oils. I love new oils. I love essential oils. One of the things that I like doing on a constant basis is just sitting and thinking, how else can you use essential oils in your everyday? So the goal of this class really is about empowering you. And so we're really going to have a deep delve into sleep. And when I was researching about this topic, it was very interesting for me to kind of understand, why is sleep important for the human body and what happens when you don't get enough sleep. And then it was important to also understand, the sleep cycle, our body's natural rhythm, and the 3 sleep hormones. We also are going to talk about sleep hygiene and how you can already begin to sleep better, because I assure you there are things that you can begin to do right now that will greatly improve the quality of your sleep, because that's what we're really aiming for, improving the quality of our sleep. And then once we have a basic understanding of all that around sleep, we're not going to come into the details of how essential oils can support your sleep routine and which essential oils can you use and which blends to have on hand. At the end of this class, I want you to know, I'd like you to come out with a couple of ideas that you can begin to implement immediately to help you improve the quality of your sleep. So just for fun, let's talk about what type of sleeper are you? And this is modeled after animals. So we've got dolphins who are light sleepers and are often diagnosed with insomnia. The bear's internal clocks track the rise and fall of the sun, and you need a full 8 hours of sleep per night. You've got lions who tend to wake up early with energy, and by early evening, they're exhausted. And wolves who have a hard time waking up early and are most energetic in the evening. So I think I fall somewhere between being a bear and a lion. So I definitely need at least 8 hours of sleep a night. And I also tend to wake up early with a lot of energy. And then by early evening, I'm like, no, I can't deal. So I'm the kind of person who likes to fall asleep at least by 9. And then I'm kind of up at 4. Or if I'm really, really pushing it, I'm up by 6. And so what happened with this period was it got to a point where I would now start sleeping later, sometimes as late as 2 a.m., and then find myself waking up at 8, which for me just was not working out. So I encourage you to kind of, and most of us already know what kind of sleepers we are. We've got morning people, and we've got the night owls and everything in between. So it's just good to really identify where you fall on the spectrum. So the question we want to ask ourselves is, why is sleep good for you? And why is it important that human beings actually get adequate quality sleep? So one of the things that happens when you're sleeping is that your brain will process information, stimuli, and memories from your day. And this is a time where it kind of processes all that and gets rid and kind of classifies and sorts them out. When you sleep well, you wake up when your focus, attention, learning, memory, and creativity is at its peak. So you know that when you don't sleep well, you have a hard time concentrating, and you're kind of fuzzy, and your brain is just not functioning at its optimum. I think one of the most important benefits that sleep provides is that your body rejuvenates as you sleep. And as your body is resting, your body is recuperating, and it is undergoing processes that are essential for growth and regulating hormones. Now, one very interesting thing I learned a very long time ago was if you're going to do a facial treatment. So for example, if you want to do a mask, I normally advise that you do your masking in the evening, because as you sleep, it gives your skin and your body a chance to really absorb the goodness of the mask and the healing that goes on as you sleep. So you kind of don't want to put a mask on in the morning when you're going to go out into the elements and you're going to be under a lot of stress. It really doesn't do much. So your skin, your body repairs itself while you're sleeping, right? And this just goes to show that, you know, your body will repair physical and psychological damage. It will strengthen your immune system, it will balance your hormones, it will relax your muscles, and it will regulate neurotransmitters. So what happens when you don't sleep well, or when the quality of your sleep is compromised? So sleeping less than 7 hours triples your risk of viral infection. Let me see. You also have things such as long-term mood disorders, and this influences our emotions, our behavior, and our decision-making abilities. You know how you wake up because you're so fatigued and you're tired, and you're so irritable and you're upset and you're angry, and it kind of just boils over to the rest of your day. And so long-term lack of sleep is going to affect your mood in that way. So you also have increased heart rate and inflammation, and your body doesn't really have a chance to kind of repair and rebalance itself when you're not sleeping well. The other thing is you have a really hard time maintaining your proper weight, and so you also have stunted growth and you have slower healing because of the disruption that is going on with your hormones. And then you have things like low libido, and you have a compromise in your immune system. The other thing you want to kind of take note is that if you don't sleep well, it shows. It's a very serious thing. So you'll notice that your skin is dry and dull, and you have a lot of fatigue, and you have low energy, you have low attention, and you have low irritability, and your moods are just negatively affected. So you kind of want to be able to pay attention to, how am I sleeping? And even if you're sleeping, am I sleeping enough? And am I sleeping well? So let's just do a little bit of understanding on what happens in the stages of sleep. And I think this is so interesting because from the moment I kind of discovered this, I started paying attention to my own sleep cycles, right? So the first stage is very light sleep, and your muscle activity slows down. So, you know, when you begin to get drowsy and your eyes are just beginning to automatically shut down, right? Then the second stage is where your breathing pattern and your heart rate will slow down and your body temperature will decrease slightly. The third stage is where deep sleep starts and your brain starts to generate slow delta waves. Then the fourth stage is where there's very deep sleep and muscle activity is limited. So between the third and the fourth stage is where your muscle and your tissue repair begins to take place. And then in the fifth stage, that is the REM sleep, rapid eye movement, your brain waves are speeding up. This is where dreams occur, and this is where your heart rate increases. So each stage lasts about 90 minutes. So a sleep cycle can go anything for about, that's 450 minutes, which is about, gosh, the math, about 5 hours. So I noticed once I started paying attention that I have two sleep stages, two sleep cycles. The first one is from 9 to midnight, where I will wake up at around midnight, very briefly, and then get back to sleep till around 4, 5, 6, depending on what time I'm going to wake up. The other very interesting thing to note, and I am really excited about this, is, you know, understanding your body's circadian rhythm. And I think this is important to understand because it shows you just how much your body works with nature, just how much your body follows rhythms and cycles. And it shows you that your body is like this well-coordinated machine that has cycles and rhythms and ways of doing things attached to it. So your circadian rhythm is your body's 24-hour cycle of growth, of rest, and wakefulness. And so at different points of the day, there are peak times for certain things. So from midnight up until, okay, let's not midnight actually. So we're going to talk about sleep hormones, but it's just interesting to kind of note a couple of things. So from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., a 12-hour cycle, you have got melatonin being released into your body. And melatonin is a hormone that helps you sleep. So it starts from late evening just until the sun rises. And then melatonin stops being released at 6 a.m., which is amazing. And so from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you now have serotonin being released, and serotonin is the hormone that helps keep you awake. So between 12 midnight and 6 a.m. is when you've got your restorative sleep, your deep sleep, and your REM sleep. And it's at that period where your body is repairing and regenerating itself. From 6 a.m. up until noon, you kind of want to start your day with sunlight so that you can kind of be awake. You're mostly alert just about, this is around 10 to around 12. That's when you're really alert. Your best coordination happens slightly after noon, and your fastest reaction time. So you between around 2. You want to kind of limit your intake of caffeine from 4 p.m. because anything after that, your body is supposed to be beginning the process of winding down. So if you're taking caffeine at 4 p.m., you're stimulating your nervous system, and that means you're going to be frazzled and overly stimulated. So from 6 p.m. up until around 8-10, you want to start dimming your lights and you want to start limiting the use of technology so that your melatonin release can begin as it was supposed to. So what happens when your circadian rhythm is out of whack? It affects everything, including your sleeping patterns, which is a little bit of understanding and reading on your circadian rhythm and how it functions will help you see that a lot of the sleep problems that we kind of have are really caused by our lifestyles and what we're doing today. So let's talk about the sleep hormones. We've already briefly talked about melatonin and serotonin. We're also going to talk about cortisol and why it's important in the sleep cycle. So melatonin is produced in the pineal gland of the brain when it's dark. Let me see what other notes I have to read. Okay, I think that's okay. And melatonin helps you sleep by winding your body down. And so when your melatonin production is compromised, this can cause sleeplessness and insomnia. So here's a very interesting fact. If you use your phone 1 hour before bed, you're delaying the release of melatonin by at least 3 hours. So if I use my phone, say at 10 p.m., my melatonin is going up until 10 p.m. My melatonin is going to start releasing at, that would be at 1 a.m. in the morning when technically I should already be sleeping. So you can already begin to support your body's melatonin release by avoiding overstimulation. And these are things like alcohol, caffeine, TV, mentally exhausting work. So you kind of want to really just get your body, your mind in that space of, winding down. And you can also do that by dimming your lights. Now, we have this really unfortunate thing of having excessively bright lights in our houses in the evening, which cheats your brain that it's still light outside, and so your brain does not know it's dark, does not identify that it's 8 p.m. because the lights are so bright, and so you're overly stimulated. Let's talk about serotonin real quick. So serotonin is the hormone that just helps you feel stay awake, number one, and helps you feel more energized. So when you wake up the next day, once your melatonin has stopped at 6 a.m., serotonin takes over and it's what gets you through the day. So when your serotonin is not good, this leads to feelings of depression and lethargy. So what you want to do to support yourself is by opening the curtains as first thing as soon as you up and allowing in as much sunlight as you possibly can get. The other thing to do is maybe if you're able to go outdoors and really soak in the sunshine. Let's talk about cortisol. And so cortisol is your body's stress hormone. When you're stressed, when you're anxious, your body will help secrete cortisol, which will help you respond quickly to danger. So the problem is that we are consistently under so much pressure, so much stress. And so our bodies are overproducing cortisol, and this definitely takes a toll on our health, most commonly manifesting as adrenal fatigue, and this in turn affects our sleep pattern. So what can you do to kind of manage and reduce your cortisol? So you've got things like breathing, you've got things like staying outside, you've got things like laughing, listening to music, you've got adaptogenic herbs, and adaptogenic herbs are herbs that easily adapt themselves to whatever situation, and so they come and create a sort of balancing effect in the body, and also by using essential oils. So what happens when your sleep cycle is out of work, when your circadian rhythm is out of work, when your sleep hormones are all over the place? You end up frazzled, you end up overly stimulated. And so I kind of invite you to just look at your patterns before you go to bed. How are you going to bed? If you're the kind of person who watches TV until 2 o'clock in the morning, and if you're watching TV, what kind of TV are you watching? So for myself, I really, really love watching CSI, but it has this really bad habit of coming at 9, 10, 11 p.m. So the last thing I see before I used to go to bed was, the last thing I would see before I used to go to bed was crime scenes and gunfire and boom and bam, and and so my brain is overly stimulated. So you go to bed and you're literally like looking like a cat, or you use your phone or you're on the internet up until the last moment before you go to bed. No little wonder that you have a hard time falling asleep, because your mind is overly stimulated. Your mind is still believing that it's daytime and that you need to be go. So the other thing about carrying heavy work or having heavy discussions or having carrying work to your bed such that you're mentally stimulated, when you're going to bed, you want to be as zen and as drowsy as possible. And so the next section we're going into is really discussing a few ways to improve your sleep hygiene. What can you already begin to do in your everyday lifestyles that is going to help you have a better night, right? So let's talk about, basic things that we can begin to do already that will make a big difference in the quality of sleep that we're experiencing. So number one, eat light foods. You don't want to go to bed on a full stomach. In fact, people normally say you should have your dinner at least 2 hours before you go to bed, because you don't want to overburden and overtax your digestive system. So instead of sleeping and regenerating, it's working really hard to eliminate and digest these heavy meals that you're eating at night, right? So you want to have as light a meal as possible if it is unavoidable for you to eat right before bed, or eat at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. You want to stay hydrated, and staying hydrated by drinking water. You want to limit caffeine and you want to limit alcohol, because these are stimulating on your nervous system, and that's not what you're looking for when you want to go to sleep. You want to drink non-caffeinated drinks. You want to try drinking herbal teas, and there's so many beautiful herbs that are good for really supporting the sleep cycle. So you've got things like passion flower, you've got valerian herb, you've got chamomile tea, and chamomile tea is readily available, and it's one of the best tonics that you can actually have to really help you wind down. If you have lavender tea, you would do well with some lavender tea. You can do well with some bits of Earl's Grey tea, because Earl's Grey has bergamot in it, and bergamot is both stimulating, is calming and sedative to the nerves. You can also try adaptogen herbs, right? And so you can also do some research on what types of foods are good to help with boosting melatonin release in particular, so that you can include those in your diet in the evening. You want to do some light form of exercise. Number one, you don't want to exercise too close to bedtime, because exercise is known to kind of increase your, feel good hormones and stuff like that. So you want to do some light stretching. A simple pose like legs up the wall in yoga is just known to kind of really relax you and kind of help you calm down. There are gentle yoga stretches that you can do, and it's also advisable sometimes. That's why people take evening strolls, not a brisk power walk, but just a nice evening stroll to kind of get your heartbeat, even and stuff like that, and to kind of just relax you. Everything that you're doing for your evening routine should be geared towards helping you achieve a more zen state. The other thing you want to do is to have a routine. And just the way you have a morning routine, you want to have an evening routine that helps you wind down. And so an evening routine could be something like, I'll have my dinner at 6. I will make sure before I go to bed, I have a cup of herbal tea. I will have a brisk walk at around 6 p.m. I will turn off my phone and turn off Wi-Fi at such a time. So you kind of want to be able to do the same thing. And if possible, sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every day, because our bodies function on routines, actually. It's very true. So right now, even without having an alarm clock, it's almost as if, like clockwork, at 9 p.m., my eyes begin to fall asleep. At 4 a.m., I'm up. I don't even need an alarm to help me get to that. So your body really responds very well to having a routine. The other thing you want to do is you want to turn off electronics. And this might be a hard one for many of us, because we're so accustomed to having our phones on at all times and having Wi-Fi going and having the TV on. If you want to improve the quality of your sleep, either start by switching off your phone or putting it on airplane mode at least 1 hour before you go to bed. Nothing is so urgent that it can't wait until the next day. So one, don't sleep with your phone on next to your ear. Put your phone on airplane mode. It'll help you. Turn off the Wi-Fi. There's absolutely no reason why your Wi-Fi should be on when you're sleeping. And because of the dangers and threats of EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies, and all those waves going around, just switch off your Wi-Fi and switch it on the next day. It will not harm you. You want to be careful and mindful about what you're watching just before you go to bed. Like I said, I would sleep after watching CSI, watching numbers, and my head was all over the place, and you sometimes even have a hard time falling asleep because gunfire is going off in your head based on what you watch. So you want to watch, friendly things that make you laugh, things that make you relax, and not heavy series and programs. Just kind of be a little bit mindful and cautious about that. And once you do some of these things, you'll notice how the quality of your sleep massively improves. What haven't I talked about here? Oh yes, the environment of your room. Make your room and your beddings as comfortable as you most possibly can. That means have really dark curtains that will not allow any light in. That means have comfortable sheets and comfortable mattress. That means do not bring work into your bedroom. Do not bring your laptop before you go to sleep. Reserve your bed for sleeping. Please take everything else that does not belong to your bedroom out of your bedroom, and save your mattress, save your bedroom for sleeping. Everything. Make your pillows as comfortable as you possibly can. Create a bedroom environment that's a sanctuary and that's inviting for you to sleep in as much as you can. Look at the colors that you have painted on your wall. If you have anything to do with it, make it a nice, cool, inviting color for yourself. The other thing that you can actually do to improve your sleep is to have some form of quiet time or meditation. And this does not necessarily mean sitting down in lotus for 20 minutes. And if you can do it, bless you, go ahead and do it. But you've got different options of meditation. So for example, you can say a quick prayer, You can practice some gratitude. End your day by thinking about things that you're grateful for, counting your blessings. Um, uh, Forgiveness, for example. You can also just choose to release and let go of things that are not serving you. These are tips that have more to do with making changes to your lifestyle and to your routine that can, in the long run, will greatly impact and benefit your sleeping habits. So now we move on to, obviously, using essential oils is a very good way to improve your sleep. And this is the next session we're going into, where I'm going to kind of break down a bit of the science and a bit of the art around what essential oils you can use to help you sleep better, and how you can use oils to sleep better. So let us see how we go. So what are essential oils? Essential oils are literally the essence of a plant, and it's what gives a plant its flavor and its smell. So when you peel an orange and you have that orangey scent in your hands, that's the essential oils of the orange that you can actually smell. It's a critical part of a plant's immune system, and its function is to protect the plant from pests, from diseases, which is why you're going to find that many essential oils are antimicrobial, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and have all these properties that are meant to literally support the plant. And so what makes essential oils so special are actually two things. One, that they are volatile, and two, they're aromatic. Aromatic meaning they have a smell. Volatile meaning that they evaporate quickly, which is why when you open a bottle of orange, that's the first scent that will kind of hit you, as opposed to something like coconut oil, whose molecules are much more heavier and do not evaporate as easily, or if at all. So what will make an essential oil therapeutic? And this is a very key distinction that we need to understand, that there are different grades of oils, of essential oils. So we've got fragrance oils on one hand, on the lowest side, and we've got therapeutic grade essential oils. And therapeutic grade essential oils are oils that are actually useful for healing work, right? So what will make an essential oil therapeutic basically comes down to its chemical composition, because at the end of the day, essential oils are made up of tiny millions of tiny molecules arranged in a certain way to give a unique chemistry. And it's that chemistry that is responsible for many of the properties essential oils have. And so essential oils are very potent. You want to treat them like you would treat medicine. 1 to 2 drops is roughly equivalent to a cup of tea, and essential oils are up to 50 times stronger than their herbal or plant equivalent. So, for example, 1 drop of peppermint oil is equal to around 28 cups of peppermint tea. So you want to be very specific and very careful. You want to use less. You'd rather err on the side of using less than using a lot more. All right, so what is it about oils that make them so special when working with the human body? It's in how quickly they work. So in 22 seconds, and I think I have a bottle of oil. Okay, I don't like deal. Let's try this one. So when I smell an oil, when I open a bottle of essential oil and I smell it, in 22 seconds, that scent has already reached my brain. And that is because your sense of smell is directly connected, linked to the limbic system of your brain. And the limbic system of your brain is the part of your brain that's responsible for emotion and memory. And that's why when you smell something, it can, when you tend to associate a certain smell with a certain memory. So I can smell something like orange or mangoes, for example, and it'll remind me of my grandma. Or I can smell something like lavender, it'll remind me of something. And then when you apply essential oils to your skin, it's easily absorbed by the skin. And remembering that the skin is largest organ of the body, and so it will easily be found in the bloodstream within 2 minutes. And then in 20 minutes, every cell in your body would have been affected by the essential oil. So it's a matter of seconds to get into your brain to create an association, 2 minutes to find its way into your bloodstream, and 20 minutes to get its way all around your body. So how would you use essential oils to help you sleep? Obviously, the first thing that you can do is to just open a bottle and inhale just before you go to sleep. Just opening a bottle quickly, inhaling, and that's it. You know that it would have reached your brain, and that your body would be able, your brain will be able to associate that scent with either relaxing or calming down or just going to sleep. The other thing you can do is around 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, have a diffuser running. And so I've got my diffuser here, and we are diffusing Ravinsara. So I prefer that you do your diffusing an hour or two before, so that when you get into your room as you're sleeping, you can switch it off and you can be sure your room is already saturated with the scent. There is such a thing as too much diffusing, especially at night. I don't think you don't want to sleep with a diffuser on. And even when I do, I normally have the diffuser set to a certain time. So if it's going to be on for at least an hour when I'm in bed, and then it goes off. Unless I have a very specific reason that I would like it to be on the whole night, but that rarely happens. If you don't have a diffuser, you can make a room spray, and making a room spray is easy as getting a spritz bottle, putting your essential oils in it, adding a few drops of vinegar to help disperse, topping with water, and spraying down your room. This would be especially useful for little children's rooms, because you really want to have a very low dilution of essential oils. The other way you can do it is putting 1 or 2 drops on your pillow, so that when you go to sleep, you have the scent of the oil lingering on your nose, and allowing that scent to really transport you into a good night's sleep. You can also use the essential oil topically, which is putting it on your skin. And one of my favorite things to do with that is, so for example, this is the Serenity blend. One of my favorite things to do is literally before going to bed, mustaching myself like that, so that I have the scent of the oils. Sometimes I'll put it on my temples like so, or roll it down on the spine. One of the other beautiful places to put essential oils before sleeping is on the bottom of your feet. So you take a drop, put it in a carrier oil like coconut oil, olive oil, grapeseed oil, whatever oil you have, and just massaging the bottoms of your feet, and for good measure, putting on some socks. Now, the bottoms of your feet are a very good place to put essential oils, because it's away from your nose, number one. Number two, it gives you access to different organs of your body, because the bottoms of your feet have reflexology points as well. So a quick, nice massage, and this would also be really, really nice and special for little children. So just massage the little feet, put them with socks, and let them go to sleep. The other thing you can do is to create a quick massage oil, a carrier oil and essential oils of your choice, and kind of oil yourself with that. Then using essential oils in the shower or the bathtub, and bonus points if you can use Epsom salts in particular, because it kind of help you really relax and loosen your sore muscles as well. So those are some of the ways you can use oils to kind of help you go to sleep. Now, which essential oils would I suggest for sleeping? So everybody knows that lavender is good for sleeping. In fact, that's the number one choice for many people. And the reason it is so is because lavender contains an alcohol known as linalool, which is very relaxing and calming to the mind. And in fact, lavender has been known to support emotional balance and the nervous system. And so, one, it works as an anxiety reliever or as a sedative. and it will interact with the neurotransmitter GABA to help quiet your mind and your nervous system. So if you use it consistently over time, it will help improve how long you sleep, and it may help rebalance your sleep cycle. So for many people, the first oil that comes to mind when it comes to essential oil for sleep, it would be lavender. But there are people who really do not like the smell of lavender. So if you don't like the smell of lavender, you can use the equivalent called petitgrain. Petitgrain really smells woodsy, but it's similar in chemical composition and effects to lavender. So I would use lavender with children because children seem to respond very well to it. I'd use it in a shower mostly, or in a room spray. And then for adults, I would do petitgrain and black spruce. It's one of my favorite shower combinations, which you can either put in shower gel or just use it in the shower directly. We've also got magnolia, which also has linalool, and it has a much higher percentage of linalool than lavender, actually. So this is one of my favorite essential oils to kind of use for sleep, and so I just must stash myself before bedtime. And for me, it helps that I really love the scent of magnolia. Ilang ilang is another floral oil that also has a similar chemical composition to lavender and magnolia, as does Roman chamomile. Personally, I'm not a fan of ilang ilang. I find it to be too stimulating. And this is the other thing that we need to understand about oils. Different oils have different effects on different people. So you kind of want to be able, if you're able to experiment and see what oil works best for me. Ilang ilang for me is a very light oil that I feel I would use best during the daytime as opposed to night. I feel it would really stir me up, which is not what I want when I'm going to bed. If you've ever smelled the chamomile flower, it smells like honey. It's a sweet, sickly smell that you have to experience, but the oil is totally something different. I'm not the biggest fan of Roman chamomile, if I'm being very honest, but it has also been used since time immemorial by moms especially to kind of help little children calm down. It seems to have a very calming effect on little ones especially. So if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling restless, create a peaceful atmosphere by diffusing chamomile. If I was to diffuse chamomile, I'd just use a drop. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the smell of the oil, but that's also because there's a certain scent profile of essential oils that I don't quite like. Let me see. Bergamot. Bergamot is a citrus oil, and you would expect that the citrus is very uplifting. But in this case, bergamot is very interesting because it is both, it really helps, it has this special property of really calming down the nervous system. So if you were to diffuse or mix bergamot with lavender, it's very interesting that it's also one of the oils. Bergamot and neroli are one of the citrusy essential oils that have been found to help lower cortisol, which, as I had explained earlier, is your body's stress hormone. So yeah, that's a very good oil to have. The other oils that are good for sleep are oils like cedarwood, and cedarwood is good because it's warm, woody, it's grounding, and it supports healthy function of the pineal gland, which helps release melatonin. So lavender and cedarwood as a combination together are very, very good. Vetiver is very deep, and it's sweet and woody and earthy, and it's the beauty of vetiver is that it's grounding, it's calming, it's stabilizing. Many people might not really like the scent of vetiver. It's one of my favorites. So to kind of tone it down a bit, you can mix it with a citrus or a floral. So I would mix vetiver with something like bergamot or something like lavender. Frankincense has chemical compounds in it that have been known to be grounding and calming and relaxing. In fact, when people smell frankincense, which I think I have, okay, I have this one. It's a scent you can't quite explain, but it's a very peaceful scent. So this is one of my favorite essential oils for sleeping, and in fact it's just a matter of mustaching for me, and I'm also good. Copaiba functions almost similar to frankincense, and it's especially useful if you have a lot of anxiety going around. And this one I can speak from experience. It has a very calming effect on your nervous system. So some of my favorite doTERRA blends for sleep include, let me see. All right. We've got the balance blend, which looks like so. And this is really good for the shower, really good for putting on your bed at night, or just also taking a drop and just inhaling. So what I love about using blends is that they've already taken the guesswork out of it for you, and they've mixed and matched different essential oils to create a beautiful synergy that's going to be very helpful. So balance is a beautiful blend. I've never met anybody who didn't like balance. It's a universal favorite. Serenity is especially useful for the evening. So I've got the roll-on version. I don't have the oil version just yet. So Serenity is also really nice because it has chamomile and vanilla, and it has, let me see if I can get this here. It has lavender, it has ylang-ylang, it has whole wood, it has marjoram, it has chamomile, it has vetiver and sandalwood. And these are all oils that have been known to support rest and relaxation in the body. My other favorite is actually the calming blend, Adaptive, which was released last year. And this is very good, especially if mental wellness is really a thing. So it'll really help you calm down. And it has in it copaiba, orange, it has lavender, it has spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum. And it really does help that it smells very, very nice. It's a beautiful smelling oil. Now, Breathe as a respiratory blend comes in because for people who have a hard time, for example, snoring, you kind of want to have oils that will help open up your airways. And so the respiratory blend has essential oils in it that are useful for open airways and for breathing better. And then my other favorite essential oil blend is from the emotional aromatherapy kit, and it's called Peace. And I love using this one, especially when you just feel like anxiety is overtaking you. And this oil has lavender, vetiver, ylang-ylang, frankincense, clary, sage, marjoram, nabdana, and spearmint. Oils that are known to be really calming on anxious feelings. And so I personally love I normally have the Peace roll-on just by my bedside. If I happen to wake up and I can't go back to sleep, that's what I'll roll and go to bed immediately. Yeah, so these are a few, I've alluded to a couple of blends here and there, but here are some blend ideas for people who need a little bit of help. So if you're an anxious sleeper, I would do something like copaiba and Adaptive, because both of them working together can help may help calm anxious feelings. For the snorers, I would include a leaf oil or a blend that is good for opening the airways, which is why for this case I have put in some eucalyptus and lavender. I would do something like Ravinsara and cedarwood or stuff like that. For children or for people who suffer from nightmares, I would take juniper berry. And that is because juniper berry has an association with helping through nightmares. And I would add a grounding oil like, say, vetiver or frankincense or even cedarwood. Then we have this blend called Reset Your REM. And if you remember, REM is the last stage in the sleep cycle. And so this particular blend is for you if your sleep patterns keep on being interrupted for whatever reason. So maybe you have jet lag, maybe your shift doesn't allow, maybe you have children who keep on coming in and interrupting your sleep. And you kind of just want to reset that bit of your sleep cycle up for a while. Take a drop of coriander and take a drop of spikenard. The smell is not the best, but yes, just take a drop of each in a base of a carrier oil and put it on your belly button. And when you do that, your belly button one is easily accessible. And what else is there to do? Your belly button is easily accessible, and it will reach different parts of your body very, very quickly. So use this for a bit of time until you notice a shift in your sleep cycle. Another one of my favorite all-time blends is spearmint and basil. And I love it because it's very useful for the shower. So when you use this combination in the morning, it'll help energize you. But when you use it in the evening, it'll help relax and reset and allow you to kind of just rest. That's one of my favorites. You can also do petitgrain and black spruce for the evening, which smells really, really nice. So I specifically deal with doTERRA essential oils. It's the brand that I trust and that I use. Unfortunately, they do not have a local office here. So what I normally do is I do take in orders at the previous month for the next month. I do my oil orders every single month. So for example, the June period has already gone. So if you want oils to take advantage of my oils order in July, let me know within the month of June. I work on pre-order basis only. So you make sure you have ordered and paid so that I can include your oils in as my July oils are coming in. So you need to allow at least 3 weeks shipping lead time. There are some slight variations, of course, with the current situation. But once the oils get here, I will find you and make delivery as soon as possible. So if you don't know where to start or you're unsure, let's discuss some options for you that are based on your current wellness needs. And if you're interested in making essential oils a part of your lifestyle, talk to me about getting my 25% wholesale discount, which is available to people who are serious about using high quality essential oils over the longer term. I'm also very excited to be bringing this particular program that I'm doing, which is get started with my Essential 101s class. And this is a class where over 8 days, you're going to do a challenge on WhatsApp, and you're going to learn the basic ways to use the 3 top oils: lavender, peppermint, and lemon. So you're also going to get yourself a 50 plus users ebook, which just shows you the different ways that you can use these 3 oils in your everyday and get the most out of your buck. So this class cost is 5,000 shillings, and I'm only dealing with small groups. Right now I have space for 4 more people. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to me. And the reason I keep my classes really small is so that I can interact with you individually, get to understand where you are, what your needs are. It's going to be fun. We start in July. So if you want to take part in this, please feel free to reach out to me. And you can find me on Facebook at Wellness with Bree, on Instagram at Bree Orata, on email, breeorata@gmail.com, and my mobile number is right there. So I think we are kind of finished. we are finished here. I want to thank you for having been with me all this while. I hope the class was useful. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you have any feedback or if you have any comments. And if you'd like, if the other classes that you'd like me to talk about on essential oils, let me know. Thank you for sitting through this. Yeah, I think that's about it from me. Stay well as usual. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. And if you do happen to try out any of the tips from this class, let me know how that goes for you.